You're listening to the Outstanding Life Podcast with your host, Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. As a motivational speaker, Johnny D impacts audiences around the world with his message of living the outstanding life. He's a best-selling author, MC, and two-time Grammy-considered artist. This podcast is a place where Johnny D can introduce you to his outstanding friends and share funny, interesting, and heart-provoking stories. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Here comes your host, Johnny D.
Hey everybody, I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Outstanding Life Podcast. I want to say a big hello to all my friends tuning in this morning on Dirt Road Radio, KYDT 103.1 FM and KBFS 1450 AM. Today we are going to be talking about Thanksgiving, what we're thankful for. We're going to be talking about gratitude. We're just going to be talking about what the heck happened last year and what we're looking forward to this year. Sitting with me in the studio today, we got Mr. Pete Vassallo. What is going on, my friend?
Hi, everyone.
We have Joe Downing over here. Joe, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. Glad to be here, Johnny. Thanks for inviting me.
Joe, it has been an absolute honor to have had you on several podcasts, but it has been a year.
Yes,
a year ago today that you were on the show, and I want to know one thing, Joe.
Yes, sir.
You said a year ago that you were going to really work at putting out your new book called
Wiping Ass in a Rolex.
Wiping ASS with a Rolex.
It's actually wiping a $sign. They told me that would be a better idea than using a swear word.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you got the front cover done.
Yeah.
Did you put the book out?
I did.
You
there's
did.
actually something in between the covers. There's a little bit of content. Yeah.
How many pages?
So it's about 190 pages long.
Okay.
The print version, ebook version's a lot longer than that. The way it was formatted, but yeah, I'm proud of it. It was a lot of work. I said I was going to get it done, put myself on a regular schedule to make it happen, and it is now on Amazon and ready for purchase.
That is awesome. Joe, I just have to ask, what was it like for you to see that come back in print and on Amazon for Kindle?
It was really cool. It was just, feeling of accomplishment. When you put a goal out there and you achieve your goal, it felt really good.
I want to know, has your wife seen it yet?
Well, she hasn't actually held the book in her hand. She ordered many copies. They're due.
Wait a second, Pete. Did you just get that? Joe made his wife order copies of the book.
Okay, gotta like that. That's good.
Truth be told, I was giving her a chapter at a time, and she said, I'm just tired of reading this on my phone. When can I get a book I can hold in my hands? I'm like, all right, you're going to have to wait.
That is so cool. Congratulations.
Well,
that is so cool.
Thanks.
Well, I have to say, though, Joe,
excellent work.
You motivated me to put a new book out.
Yep.
When you sat there and said that, I listened back to the podcast and I was like, you know what? No matter where I am in the country, no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and write a story a week until Wild Cards of Success comes out. And so I just want to say thank you for motivating me to have my new book come out. So not only did we have a great episode, but you motivated me to have a new book out, and I got mine done. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for motivating me. You motivated the Motivational Cowboy.
That's awesome. And thank you for letting me read it. I got an advanced copy. I read it, and I love it.
Yeah.
Nice work.
It was a surprise. Nobody really knew about the book, and I didn't want the pressure of people saying, did you write another chapter? Did you do another page? Did you do this? Did you do that? And so I gave it to you and you went through, I think you read it 7 times for me.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I enjoyed it 7 times. Yeah.
So, hey guys, the holidays has just passed. I got to ask, what was everything like? What was this year like for you guys? Pete, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah. Well, this year was a sort of complicated year, planning for my daughter's wedding. A lot of family events this past year. We got through them.
Hey, how many weddings did you go to this year? It seemed like every other week Pete was going to a wedding.
I have to say at least 5 or 6. It was a busy year.
Expensive year.
Of course. Coming from a big family, that comes with the territory.
Right.
A lot of get-togethers. A lot of family functions. But I enjoy the weddings. I enjoy being with people at weddings. It's a nice time to see everybody. So I had a good time with it this year. And again, it's already gone.
Yeah,
right?
Crazy.
Yeah, my daughter got married in October, and niece got married. Baby showers. I had my granddaughter born this past year, so I spent a lot of time with my grandchildren. So that essentially taken a lot of my time.
Yeah.
Spending my time with my family, my grandchildren. I love it, actually.
Guys, let me ask you, what does gratitude mean to you guys? Joe, I'm going to start with you.
I guess, the simple definition is thankfulness, being thankful for something. Or I guess you could also look at it as an acknowledgement of all of the positive things in your life, whether that be people, jobs, situations, your health, whatever the case may be. What do you have to give thanks for?
Let me ask you, what was an overwhelming sense of gratitude that you had this year?
Well, certainly, I guess it would have to start with my twin grandsons being born. There's nothing that compares to that. Oh my gosh, it's just so wonderful to have grandkids. You can play with them and then you leave.
Wait, so I'm just curious, what do they call you?
Well, I prefer to be called Joe.
Wait a second. Are you serious? Like, not grandpa? Not.
See, this is a point of contention. So I think you brought that up on purpose because I prefer to be called Joe. I just don't want to feel like an old grandpa yet.
Well, you definitely don't look like one.
My daughter-in-law is going to make sure that I'm called grandpa or something.
Okay.
To that effect, but that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
As long as they call me something. Right?
What are the boys' names?
Dax and Cal. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Daxton and Callum, but Dax and Cal. Yeah.
I can't wait, Pete, for the video. To see the video when they say "Grandpa." Yeah. I'm gonna make sure I keep that video and we're gonna put it on the podcast because it won't be Joe.
It probably won't be, but I can still hold out hope.
Yeah. So your grandkids. What else?
Well, this was really a great experience for me, and we had a great year. So many things to be thankful for. Spent 10 days in the Canadian Rockies, 2 trips to Maryland's Eastern Shore to see kids and the grandkids, and my sister lives there as well. But my brother invited Teresa, my wife, out to New York City for an award ceremony where he was going to receive an award. And so I got to spend 4 days with my wife and my brother. Just the 3 of us went to this award ceremony and then spent 4 days in downtown Manhattan just exploring. We walked 36 miles or something in 4 days. It was so fun.
Did you like New York?
Loved it.
I know.
Absolutely loved it.
When you told me, I know. You
said,
said, Johnny, I'm probably going to hate it there. And I go, Joe, no, you are going to absolutely love it.
Yeah. I wanted to buy one of those I love New York t-shirts.
and a fake Rolex.
Yeah.
On Canal Street.
Yeah.
So, hey, that being said, you have a great family. I just found out today that you have 6 brothers and sisters. Pete has 7.
Yeah, there's 6 of us. Yes, I have 1 brother and 4 sisters.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm by far the youngest.
So can we brag for a second? Yeah. Are we allowed to brag for a second about your brother?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I think it's so cool. Yeah. I don't know how the family dynamics are. Your brother might be listening to the Outstanding Life podcast and say, you know what I mean? Who knows, right? But tell everybody who your brother is.
My brother is the Chief Executive Officer of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So he's a big cheese in the pediatric oncogene research and treatment end of the business, and done a lot of great work over the course of his career to help reduce or improve the survival rates for pediatric maladies.
And what was the award for that you went to New York for?
The award it was called the Motif Award for children's humanitarian efforts. I'm probably getting the phrasing a bit wrong, but that's the gist of it. So he won this award from this organization for the efforts that St. Jude Children's Research Hospital put forth as part of their global outreach program, where they have partners all around the world to help reduce pediatric cancer fatalities in remote places that don't have access to the best of care.
Yeah, that is so neat. That is so cool. Great. Especially this time of the year. And we all know people that have been through the hospital. And the hospital is just absolutely amazing. Guys, with Thanksgiving and the holidays just passing, I'm going to jump right into this. What is your favorite aspect about Thanksgiving, Christmas? And, and what I thought about when I thought of this question, I thought the food part of it. Especially with you, look at the face. Pete, I'm going to start with you because I mean, your mom and dad owned a restaurant. Your brother owns a restaurant.
Right.
You know, what is it traditional? Is it non-traditional? I mean, what is it like for you? Because you're 100% Italian.
Yeah, growing up, we would always have family gatherings at the grandparents' house, and all the cousins would be there, and a lot of noise. So with an Italian family and Italian holidays or holidays in general, just a lot of noise. That's the biggest memory, or the best memory I've had in my youth. As you got older, you essentially had to, do Thanksgiving on your own. You didn't have to, now you were the people who were cooking for everybody and inviting people over. It sort of changed over the years. So, over time, there's different memories. When you're younger with your grandparents, when you get older, you have your own children. Now you're with your in-laws and your brother-in-laws and your other family. So
Pete, I'm going to go ahead and put you on the spot right now. Who has been the best cook so far in all the years that you've been alive going to Thanksgiving?
You better say your wife.
Hands down, it's been my mother.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mother had a special skill of cooking.
What was your favorite meal from Mom?
Thanksgiving meal or in general?
Yeah, just of the holidays.
She used to make homemade pasta. Being Italian, pasta's it, man.
Yeah.
So she was the best at it. And my wife is an excellent cook too. I have to give her credit for that. So over the years, I don't have to worry about cooking so much.
And you're so thin.
I have great people in my life that cook better than me.
Yeah.
So I'll take it.
So what is your favorite dish overall? Thanksgiving, Christmas. What is your favorite dish?
Dessert. Well,
Dessert. So it is dessert.
Yeah. I'm a pumpkin pie fan.
Okay.
I've always
Can you bake?
I've always enjoyed that. I'm good at breakfast.
He's good at buying them.
That's good. I think you can't screw up breakfast, right? I made dinner one time for my family. But
Wait, one time?
Yeah, one time.
Okay, Joe, I was just going to say, is that a tradition for you? But obviously, it's not.
No. I mean, you think about it. It's you got to grill. You can grill things, but making things from scratch is definitely a challenge. And if it's not your kitchen, you're not going to find things that you want.
Right, right.
I sort of stay away from that. That's
okay.
That's
great.
I'm okay with that.
Joe, how about you?
Have I ever cooked a dinner for my family?
That is going to be no, because it would be healthy, or it'd be like hard boiled eggs, and that's it.
Chicken and broccoli.
When it comes to Thanksgiving, Christmas, who cooks? Who do you like to cook? And what's your favorite meal?
Well, we usually Teresa. If we have a holiday at our house, Teresa will cook. But usually family members will all bring a dish as well.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to do it. And this most recent holiday, we actually had the food made elsewhere and just brought in. So it was really nice.
Yeah,
that was a good way of doing it.
Thanksgiving, it was always my dad getting up like there are traditions, right? So the night before, I'd go to bed. And I'd get up in the morning and I'd hear my mom and dad bickering back and forth about the turkey and about this and about that. So mom took care of the turkey, dad. They had their own parts of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And for me guys, it was the smell of that morning waking up as a kid. I don't know about you guys, but there was something about reflecting back to being a child and waking up and you knew that the parade, the Detroit parade was going to be on. And that brought me to another question for you guys. What was your morning like for Thanksgiving? And has it changed throughout the years? Because you both came from big families. Then you have your own families. Then your family moved out.
Yeah.
So how has it changed throughout the years?
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, all my siblings were much older than me. So Thanksgiving was usually a time where they'd come back home to visit. So I always woke up that morning with just this anxious anticipation of getting to see my siblings and their family.
Yeah.
And, sometimes they bring their dogs or whatever. And it was just a festive time. Now I try to be more practical about it. So I get up and I go to the gym and I work out a ridiculous amount, and then I go for another long hike afterwards to try to burn all the calories off before I consume them.
That is awesome. How about you, Pete?
Yeah, I'll wake up too. Growing up, obviously, you would smell the turkey in the morning, and the anticipation having everybody over. That was really, really great. From a big family, I used to love seeing my cousins. And now with my own families, like going different places on Thanksgiving or a holiday sort of changes it up. Obviously, what happens on Thanksgiving? Food and football and small talk.
Right.
And it was nice.
You're lucky, no fights about politics.
Yes, no fights about politics. Right. I sort of like try to avoid to steer away from that, man.
That brings me to a great point. There are a lot of people listening right now that things changed. They were married, maybe they had big families. Now, like, your kids are gone. Matter of fact, your kids are having kids.
Yeah.
What is it like for you guys? What was it like for you guys that first time that all of a sudden your kids are not home?
Yeah.
I mean, Joe, you can't see this, but Joe's smiling.
My kids have both worked in healthcare for, best part of a decade now. So kind of get used to them not being around because, either myself or one of them or both of them were gone on the holidays. So I've had some time to get used to this, but it's sad in a way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you like to all be together on a holiday, and on the one hand, you're sad. On the other hand, you're also proud of them because they're out there working. They're out there working and helping people get back to health or saving lives or however you want to describe it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know, like, this past Thanksgiving, it was a little bit different for me being home. I just spent 10 and a half months on the road, and it's like I spent Thanksgiving alone, but I wasn't alone. This was the coolest part. It really made me reflect back to what Thanksgiving is really about. Like, it's great. Food, family, friends. But I had the coolest experience, and that was I got up, I raked leaves, I listened to great music, and then I noticed my neighbor across the street, and he was out there, and he's retired, and he was out there working on a ditch that kind of like went under his sidewalk because he bought new lights for his house. So I spent 3.5 hours helping my neighbor.
Nice.
Very nice.
The real true meaning of Thanksgiving is helping somebody in need.
Yeah.
Or just hanging out with somebody that normally wouldn't have somebody there, because I just thought it was
That's
great.
Nice,
yeah. And then I know you guys are probably wondering what I had to eat that day.
I am. Is it mashed potatoes?
No,
Okay.
it was White Castle.
jelly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was the only thing open.
Pretty much jealous, Joe.
Yeah.
Guys, coming to the holidays, this is a time that people really struggle.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember a time that you maybe were struggling as a family and you had to get through a tough time, or maybe you helped a family get through a tough time?
Helped another family
Yeah.
get through a tough time. Being in the hospital, pretty much everybody there is having a tough time. This is it's a small act. There was a guy just took care of, not too long ago.
Those of you that don't know, Joe.
I'm a nurse.
Yeah.
I work in a large medical center, and this poor gentleman was brought into us from a rural area, and he's 40-something years old and 5'9" tall and 450 pounds.
Wow.
And very, very ill. And as we were putting him to sleep to prepare him for his procedure, I'm looking at him and I'm just like, on the one hand, feeling horribly sorry for this man because he was just a mess. I mean, he's just dirty and he just smelled horribly and he had wounds all over himself. Obviously not well mentally, not well physically. And, I was feeling sorry for him. And he looked up at me and he said, "Can you hold my hand?" And I was like, oh my gosh, this is odd, for a grown man to ask another grown man to hold his hand. But I did, and it made me feel good. A small act of gratitude, just comforted him as we were putting him to sleep. And, hopefully it helped him in some way. So.
He didn't judge you. He just
he just needed a helping hand, literally.
Yeah,
and it just reminds me of the song by Alabama, "Angels Among Us." And we all play a role, and that includes everybody listening right now. A simple act of kindness goes a long way, especially during the holiday season. One of the family traditions at Christmas when my dad was alive was every Christmas Eve, he would wake me and my brother up, and he would go to Macy's, Hudson's, or JCPenney's, or all, both of them. And he would do all his shopping in like 2 hours. Then he would drop it all off at the mall where they like would wrap it for you. And we would go to the bar. My dad would have a couple beers. We would have lunch. And it was like the greatest thing.
Nice.
Do you guys, have traditions with your kids, or maybe when you were growing up, you remember one of those moments with your family like that?
When I was growing up as a kid myself, my parents were always a little odd in that respect. They would they would buy gifts for everybody, and they would leave them in the bag that they purchased them in with a receipt in it in case we wanted to take them back. They were so odd. They didn't wrap anything.
Well, what about when you got married? Did you learn to start wrapping?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I still struggle with it.
So this year you wrote her a book.
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to write her something just for her. But yeah.
That's awesome. What a sweet gesture to wake up and have your wife. I mean, because we can all buy somebody something, right? No matter how big or small it is. But when you take time to write somebody something, I think we've lost that.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed doing it. Again, on the topic, right? Being thankful, expressions of gratitude. It's probably more for me than it is for her.
That is cool.
I know she enjoys it because she keeps everyone and has for decades. But
how about you, Pete?
When my daughters were younger, we would go Christmas Eve.
Oh, so you kind of did what my dad did?
Yeah, I was a Christmas Eve all day long.
I don't know if it's a guy thing, but I couldn't rap. I mean, I would try to rap, and I couldn't rap. I was so thankful because we are old enough to remember when we had to wrap everything or put it in a brown bag.
Yeah.
Now we have gift bags.
Yeah.
And that is the coolest thing ever.
What a fantastic invention. All these inventions are just making us lazier.
Yes.
And lazier.
I know, 100%.
I love it.
Guys, what do you think when it comes to the holidays? What do you think of gift cards? Honestly,
I love gift cards.
Really?
I love and we have a gift exchange on my side of the family, and the rule is no gift cards. And I'm so disappointed because I mean, I don't need anything.
Right.
But at some point, I'm going to need something. It's
right.
nice to have an Amazon gift card or some gift card from some place where I can just order what I need.
So there is that aspect. I just now it's like you take $1,000, you go buy all your gift cards and you're done. Great. But it's like no time went into it. You didn't write a letter with it.
Well,
you
didn't. That is the solution of the problem, right? You can get the practicality from a gift card, and if you have a personal note attached to it, you've solved the problem.
Now that, gentlemen that are listening, for next year or for the next birthday, there's nothing wrong with buying a gift card, but write a small little letter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it's to or from or whatever. I mean, just, do something cool. Guys, what do you think about gratitude journals?
So I don't keep a specific gratitude journal, but in many ways, a lot of the chapters in the book that I wrote are essays about gratitude.
Exactly. And I got to be honest with you. And the reason why I asked that is that's how my book started, was all these cool stories and stuff that I get from the road. And it's like, what a great story. Let me put it into a book.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how we are surrounded by these stories and journaling. I think is so important. And I also thought about this. Journaling is a little bit different these days. And maybe you guys would agree or disagree, but like Facebook, Instagram, it's kind of a digital journal. But I still like to write down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I do too. And I guess what I would disagree to a certain extent about Instagram and Facebook, because there's just such a short attention span attached. But your journal, it makes you think deeply, and that's how I got started writing my book. I wrote my very first essay about my first patient that ever died on me, and I remember taking that. It was just what a surreal experience. I mean. I was given CPR, still a student. That's all I knew how to do. I didn't know how to do any of the other parts of the code process. And this patient died, and they called the code, and there's this person under my hands, and they're still warm and eyes are open, but they're dead.
Yeah.
And we had to take her down to the morgue, and I'm standing there, and I'm just like, wow, someday that's going to be me. Someday that's going to be every single person that I care about in this world. And it really shook me up. And that's when I started writing. That's when I started writing. And, it took me months and months and months just to finish that one short little essay. But in the end, the antidote was a gratitude practice, to realize that, this is finite. And the way to make the most of it is to be grateful for what you have and to let those people that mean something to you, let them know what they mean to you.
I'm so grateful for people that are in your business, saving lives. This past year, 4 different times being on the road, 4 times, guys, I watched firemen, nurses, strangers, these people were strangers to the person that they saved their life. 4 times. Mm-hmm. I saw it this year. And it warms my heart to know that not only did they save their life, but it made me think that I'm trying not to get emotional because, we all have the ability to be nice and to save someone's life. Mm-hmm. We never know what people are going through. And when you think about being thankful and having gratitude, it's like those people, I will never probably see them ever again. Mm-hmm. But I watched them save someone's life 4 different times. Mm-hmm. And once was on an airplane. Could you imagine being that man or woman that you're next to your loved one and this 4 different people jumped up over and saved this guy's life? Yeah. And I just want to say thank you to you, Joe, and to everybody.
Like a calling. It's a calling.
Yeah. I just think but it's so important for us to not just see it happening and just keep walking. Mm-hmm. Stop. And be that man or that woman or that child to help somebody. Mm-hmm. It doesn't cost any money to be nice.
No.
To be thankful. Being
nice goes a long way. Expressing gratitude goes a long way. That's for sure.
Guys, how do you keep your mindset on being grateful and being thankful? Because it's tough.
Well, I struggled with this mightily. As you know, my backstory. I had a long career in the auto industry. Was very successful financially, and I was miserable. And
then go back and listen to that podcast too.
Yeah. It's in 2018, I think, or maybe January 2019. But anyway, I would wake up every morning, and I don't know if you guys remember that commercial, I got to get up and make the donuts.
Oh, yes.
The Dunkin' Donuts commercial, I believe. And I felt like that every morning. It's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go do this anymore. And I did that for a long, long time. And now that I really do enjoy what I'm doing, it's a whole mindset shift. And I get up every morning and the first thing I say to myself if I'm going to work that day is I get to go to work today. I get to go to work. And, not every day is great. And some days it's a struggle to say that. But, for the most part, I'm glad to get up and go to work. And it's I don't have I do practice gratitude, but it's not a set in stone practice besides that one.
Yeah.
Besides that, before my feet hit the floor, I say to myself, I get to go to work today.
Yeah. How about you, Pete? Because you're a guy, Pete, I talk to you all the time, and you're an accountant, and you love going to work. You were mad when you could not go to work.
Yes, that is correct. I always think that it's great to be wanted. And
I love when Pete says that and how he says it.
It could happen at any age. You're wanted on a sports team. You're wanted by your family. You're wanted by your employer. You're wanted by your wife. It's nice to be wanted. And next year, actually 2024, will be 40 years for me as an accountant. And I don't know what I would do differently. I've enjoyed the profession, and I'm grateful. Like Joe says, I get up and I want to be there. I think it's in some cases you think people depend on you, and that's I think the motivation of going in the morning. My mom used to say the hardest part about going to work is getting up every day.
Right.
And if you can get through that, you've got God on your side to get to work, and you can contribute. There's different ways you can contribute. Joe's contributing his skills in medicine. I'm contributing my skills in finance, and people still respect my opinion and the reporting that I do, and I'm okay with it.
When people are listening to this right now and they're like, "Well, that's great, guys. You love what you do." Mm-hmm. How do you guys handle bad days?
Well, the negativity,
because it's a mindset, right?
The negativity part is difficult because you don't want to just go preaching, right?
Right.
Because I did this for 20 straight years.
Yeah.
And nobody could just walk up to me and say, snap out of it, appreciate all you got, and they would have been right, but I wasn't going to listen at that point in time.
Right.
So I think the only thing you can do is set an example. Do your best to maintain a positive attitude and be that, that shining example of what a life of gratitude can mean.
Practice what you preach. Mm-hmm. Even though we're not out there preaching, it's like practice. Yeah, right. I know.
Try to live it.
Yeah. Show them.
And I don't always succeed, but I try hard, and I'm so much better than I used to be. Oh my God.
Well, again, you love what you get to do every day.
That helps.
What about you, Pete?
There's a mentoring process that I'm going through with a lot of the staff I work with. They're younger than me.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of eyes on you to see how you react to certain situations, how you essentially get through a task or a problem. And if they sort of copy you and learn from you, that's the flattering part about being a person in an organization, whether it's in medicine, whether it's in your profession. At this age, for me, influencing young people to like what they're doing, that's the gratitude. I'm happy that they actually want to be there. They're not grumbling about the assignment, because sometimes there's no glory in our jobs.
Yeah, no. You guys, when it comes to traditions and holidays, do you guys think that, it's better to eat at home or go to a great restaurant? And I thought of this, Joe, just real quick. I thought of this. I want to hear from you, but I thought about this with Pete because Pete's family owned restaurants. Right. So it's kind of like a catch-22, but go ahead.
I really enjoy being at somebody's house, freaking lounge around on the couches and turn the TV on. But there was I don't remember how many years ago, but it was definitely during COVID, where the day after Christmas, we will host every other year at our house. Well, we moved into a much smaller house recently, and we decided to have our day after Christmas at one of the local pubs,
Okay.
And it was fine. I mean, I enjoyed it. I guess, I don't know if my family was being honest or not, that they all seemed to, think it was just fine. It wasn't as comfortable. It wasn't as, maybe intimate, but we still socialized. We still had fun. And it was a whole lot less work.
I was just going to say, you don't have to pick up. You don't have to set it up. You don't have to do any of that.
I don't even know how to, because honestly, I'm not a big help. I'm just not.
At least you're honest.
Yeah. I might clean a little bit.
How about you, Pete?
Yeah, that's a good point. We're so used to staying at home for holidays, and going out to a restaurant sort of breaks up the monotony of staying home. And yes, you don't have to worry about cleanup. You can socialize still. You can probably socialize more. There's no stress of someone cleaning. If you have a holiday at your home, what happens? Well, your wife's always cleaning up. The husband's cleaning up. Something's always sort of nerve-wracking. You're hoping someone don't spill white wine or red wine on your carpet or the chair, right? So that worry is always there. So you have to prepare yourself for a major accident at home. But at a restaurant, you don't have to worry about that. I sort of am 50-50 on it.
Okay.
I like the idea of being at home and in the comfort of the home.
I thought about this one too. I've always wanted to volunteer for the holidays.
Yeah.
Soup kitchens. I never have.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever, instead of going to a family affair, go and volunteer somewhere, or maybe both?
But I tell you, I get that same sort of sense of accomplishment or satisfaction, rather, by going to work. Because I'm working in a hospital, and these are people that would certainly rather be at home with their families and not in the hospital. And it's different. You're missing your family, but on the other hand, you feel like you're doing good for people that really need you. So,
yeah,
it's good sense of satisfaction.
And no, I've never really been approached to try to volunteer on a holiday. I know there's probably multiple opportunities to volunteer somewhere, help somebody. That's something I will definitely consider, in the next year or two.
I think that's something that the three of us should go ahead and put out there right now. The three of us should go and volunteer somewhere for a couple hours somewhere.
I think that would be wonderful.
Just to do, you know what I mean? And listen, I mean, I said it before I asked the question. I've always wanted to, but never have. You know what I mean? So I just think it's important to volunteer. And I've heard of families going and volunteering as a family.
Yeah.
Like instead of going for Thanksgiving dinner,
That's nice.
they would go and spend 4 hours at a soup kitchen together and doing something. And I thought, wow, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? What great story would that be
That's
as a family?
And there really is a lot of people that need help out there. There's no doubt. You know, the homeless population is just exploded around here recently. And just a lot of people need help. That would be a nice gesture. I'm game. Sign me up.
I was. You brought something up, and we're talking about being thankful. We're talking about being grateful and gratitude, guys. It was my second from last gig, so it was in November, late November, and I was staying in Homestead, Florida, and it was a pretty nice hotel. It was not a hotel. It was a motel. And I usually don't stay at motels, but this was a very nice motel. And when my agent put me there, I was like, what the heck? A motel? But it was really, really, really nice. But every day there would be a lady out front of the hotel. And I mean, it was warm, right? It was 80 something degrees every single day. It was beautiful. She was never begging for money, but something told me to spend time with her. Something inside me said, but the one day I was too busy, too hungry, too grouchy, too this, too that. Never did. Next day, didn't happen. Something told me to go talk to this lady. Finally, I was checking out Sunday morning and I rolled up next to her and I said, hey, good morning. And she said, good morning. And never asked me for a dime. She was obviously homeless. And these words came out of my mouth. I said, you're loved. You're beautiful. And I said, here's some money. Go buy yourself breakfast. And she came to the car and she took it. And she said, thank you. And she went back and I just said, hey, you're loved. And I looked down and this lady was journaling. Nothing in her life. She had a couple bags. That was it. But she was journaling. I pulled away from her. And I'm not telling you this story to sit there and say I'm such a great guy and I gave her $20. This lady inspired and motivated me that day. And I thought to myself, this lady doesn't have anything. And she inspired and motivated me. Somebody that doesn't have to worry about anything.
Right.
She impacted my life.
Nice.
It just, to me, it's a life lesson that we all have the ability, no matter how little or how much we have. We need to find the grateful in our lives. You're right? I mean, we all can be grateful for something.
Absolutely.
No matter what you do not have or what you have.
Yeah.
Be grateful. So that being said, I have to ask, give thanks before the meal or after the meal? Well, I know that's tradition to do it before, but I thought about this because a lot of families give thanks after the meal, right? Which makes sense. I was like, well, this is kind of cool. Yeah. But go ahead.
It's interesting because when we have any holiday meal on my side of the family, none of us are particularly religious. So there really is no formal giving of thanks. But on Teresa's side, they're very religious, and they're, she blesses herself before every single meal, and her family always says grace before meals, and it's nice. It is nice, the tradition of giving thanks. They always do it before. I don't know that I've ever been in a situation where it was given after. How about you, Pete?
Same here. My family never really said grace at meals. Yeah, my dad.
You're 100% Italian. Come from a big family. I'm shocked.
My father was always ready to eat. He's hungry. Yeah, he said, saying grace for 2 minutes is going to take him away from his food, so it pretty much never happened. When he passed, we sort of did that with my mother. My mother, she was grateful for her children. Big families have a lot of complicated issues, and having her children in the same building during a holiday meal made her really grateful. So a lot of the memories the last several years about my mom and having her around with, my siblings. But no, if there's any prayer, it's usually before. I don't really, I don't think I've ever experienced it after the fact, after the meal.
Yeah, I guess the timing isn't so important. The fact that you just
know, right? I mean,
yeah.
Because when this person wrote in and gave me that question, I was like, I never experienced it either. Mm-hmm. But after reflecting on it, what better time to have it than after you had the meal?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It could go each way. I just thought it was a great talking point.
I see the logic
Same here.
in the after.
And I couldn't wait to ask you, Joe, that question because you don't care either way, right?
No,
I mean, you know what I mean?
No, I don't care. I mean, as long as, I am appreciative for what I have.
Of course, 100%.
But yeah, the formality of how the gratitude is expressed, it just doesn't mean that much to me.
Do you guys ever go to your neighbors and give your neighbors anything? I have Mrs. Stone next door. Mm-hmm. Love her to death. Mm-hmm. I can go years without seeing her.
Yeah.
She always waves. But this year I felt like I needed to go and give her a gift card, as you guys would say. Because I can't go wrong, right? Or maybe some flowers.
Yeah.
Just being grateful for being such a great neighbor for almost 20 years. Have you guys ever done that?
Good idea.
Teresa, absolutely. She's played Secret Santa with some of the neighbors.
Okay.
Just a big heart, trying to.
Oh, that's even a better idea, Joe.
Yeah, drop something off with no explanation. And
Yeah. I'm going to do that.
See, I don't know. Just, my mind just works where it's like, okay, if I'm going to walk up to my neighbor's house, their dog's going to charge through the door and attack me. And, I don't know. I let my mind.
Well, hey, guys, it's not a secret anymore either because everybody has a Ring.
Yeah.
Doorbell.
Yeah.
And so they can see you walking up and who you are.
Yeah. Hey, you're right. That's a good point. It's like you can't even prank call anybody anymore,
right, exactly. Yeah. So, Pete, how about you?
Yes. There's an elderly neighbor across the street from Cindy and me, and he likes some of the food that some of the specialty dishes that my brother has at his restaurant. On occasion, we'll give him, we'll buy him a dish and bring it to him. And my one neighbor on the west of us has a couple of boys, young boys, so every once in a while we'll give them, like Halloween, you give them special gift. Halloween's a good time to give people extra, right?
Candy.
Just candy and snacks, whatever. So I mean that's probably the only time I can think of doing anything consistently every Halloween with the kids. Not necessarily. My neighbors one time would give us. They make homemade jam. We'll do that. So he gave us some homemade jam last year, a couple years ago. But no, it's sort of something that doesn't cross your mind that much.
Right. That's my whole point. It's like I don't think about it, but sitting here with you guys, I have a list in my head now. I'm going to randomly go and buy something and give it to a neighbor, just saying, hey, I'm thankful for having you as a neighbor.
Yeah.
So, guys, this one is really, really important to me, and I couldn't wait to ask you guys this one here. Do you focus on the past year's accomplishments, or do you look forward to the upcoming year's accomplishments and goals?
Well, one thing I've been trying to work on more and more is...
I love the smile on Joe's face. Have you seen that?
I've been reading a lot of philosophy lately, and I think there is that balance between living in the past, predicting the future, getting excited for the future, but I'm trying to spend more time in the present moment. Right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm trying to, focus on. And it's hard. It's really
100%.
It's really hard. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with looking back at your past year, your past accomplishments, and, having a sense of pride in that. And then, of course, you have to have goals, right? If you don't have any goals, you're not going to end up going anywhere. You got no roadmap in front of you. You're going to go in circles or worse, right, off a cliff. So they're all important. And I don't know how to weigh what's one as being more important than the other. But my biggest challenge is living in that present moment, right? It's not, thinking about, oh man, what's tomorrow going to bring? Or boy, did I screw up yesterday?
Yeah.
It's about enjoying like this moment, this right now, enjoying this podcast, enjoying talking to you guys. And,
no, I think that's wonderful. Yeah. And you're so right. I mean, I find myself at times, oh my God, what did I just do last week? Because I'm looking forward to the next gig. But there are times that I walk out to my man cave, out to the garage.
Yeah.
and I have pictures from 25 years ago when I had a bunch of hair and no gray.
Yeah.
And I look at those photos and I'm like, man,
Yeah.
look what I get to do.
Yeah.
And I reflect back and it makes me even more pumped up to do another show, to do another speaking gig, to go to and MC another NASCAR event. It makes me pumped up to be able to look at the past and what I've done for the future, but to live in that present moment.
Yeah.
Just like you said, there are stories to be told all the time. Pete, I'm going to go ahead. I mean, sorry,
You guys talked about, you guys both wrote books. I didn't really think about ever writing a book.
So, hey, Joe, maybe this is a perfect time for Pete to go ahead and put it out there that he's going to write a book this year.
I'm not sure about that. I kept an extensive diary as a teenager, and I destroyed it.
Oh, I was going to be like, that would be a good book.
I destroyed it. There's some things in it that probably shouldn't be public, right? But it helped me a journal helps you sort of like collect your thoughts, direct you in a certain direction, right? So it sort of helped me to untangle a lot of things. As a teenager, what confronts you? The wrong crowd, girls, your future. I mean, living in a house with all my sisters, always chaos. A journal sort of helps you, and even a book maybe, steer things differently. I want to do something with my life. I don't want to just be a nobody. So you essentially decide on a path, right? And I decided as a teenager the direction I wanted to take, right? I mean, if you're married with children, that's a goal. That happened. I don't think those things happen by accident. Now, I sort of look at, like Joe, like at the present. I sort of think of the future because that's almost like, I don't know if it's a bad trait, a characteristic trait, but I'm always trying to look 3, 4, 5 years out, right? And why do you do that? Well, if you have a career, you have no choice but to essentially direct your attention.
There's the accountant side of things right there.
Yeah.
You have to direct your attention, and it comes down to planning and goals. But I'm grateful for the career I have. Like my dad used to say, some professions, you're not going to be rich, you're not going to be poor, right? So you sort of accept your place in life, and you make the best of it.
I love that. Guys, we're just about ready to wrap this thing up. And I have to ask, what goals have you set for yourself for this year?
This year, good question. I'm actually thinking about retirement planning.
What?
So I have to figure out a few things.
Well, he did just say 5-year plan. So he has 5 years. So
I'm looking at 5 years out. I'll be 62 next year. So I don't know.
I can't imagine you ever retiring.
I don't know what that means, but I know I won't be wanted in the workforce for much longer.
Why do you say that?
Well, in the automotive industry where I work, things change so rapidly right now. In businesses, sometimes they're only as successful as their product and their leaders. Sometimes you wonder about the decisions your leaders make, and you hope that doesn't burn the company and then essentially, ruin your livelihood. So I sort of think of that every day. What would I do? How would I do it? It all comes down to numbers. Retirement's all comes down to numbers. For short term, just try to get through this year end. In finance, it's all about year end and closing. Next year, I'm not sure what it's going to bring. I don't really have a solid goal in mind for next year. Just thinking about what I would do after work.
Nice.
I actually.
What would you do, Pete? I'm just curious.
I actually want to golf more.
Okay.
I went on a golf outing. I'm not good at it. So people laugh at me.
He's not a golf team. He's better than me, but he's still not very good.
People laugh at me when I golf, and I don't care because I like being outside, and there's friends that I like being around. So maybe golf more. I guess that's an objective for 2024.
So, Joe, how about you? What goals have you set for yourself this year?
Well,
because you know that I'm going to have you on a year from now to talk about these goals.
So I'll tell you about the goals that I can articulate. Number one, my son challenged me to do what is called the Murph Challenge for Memorial Day. So it is you run a mile, you do 300 air squats, 200 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, run another mile, all while wearing a 20-pound rucksack.
Wow.
So he challenged me to that, but now he's a father of twin 4-month-old boys. So I'm pretty sure this will be a solo effort. But that's
I was going to say, is Nate going to do this?
He's not going to. And we know that.
So Joe's got a fitness challenge in front of him.
I'm going to do that. So that's one thing I can tell you about. But the other thing, I'm doing something called a massoji, which is...
Is that a massage?
No, not at all. It's a very difficult physical or mental challenge, and I'm going to do one of each, and you cannot tell anybody what it is. You got to have less than a 50% chance of accomplishing the goal. It can't kill you. At least, it can't be that difficult where you're likely to die from it. And if you succeed, you can't tell anybody. If you fail... you can tell people. So if we're talking about this in a year, we're talking about my 2 massojis, I failed.
I love that.
Yeah.
Guys, I can't thank you guys enough. Goals for this year, Joe kind of said it perfect, and that is to live in the present a little bit more, to really, really, I've done so many cool things. I mean, there's only 2 places I haven't spoke. 25 years ago when I started this career, I wanted to give a motivational talk in every single state in the United States. Mm-hmm. And I only have Alaska and Hawaii to do.
Really? Fantastic.
I can go anytime. It's not the money. It's not.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I spoke and gave a motivational talk in every single state. I'm working on a deal right now in Alaska to do some stuff with
that'd be awesome.
with their school systems. But really living in the present. And then when I am home, don't be afraid to not have something going on. Mm-hmm. And that's tough for me.
You get a little nervous?
Joe, I got to be honest, this is a week 2.5 for me since I've been done. And the first 2 weeks, I felt like I was the biggest flipping loser.
Yeah.
Reason being is I'm so used to go. I got home and it was like I didn't have to do anything.
Right.
Nothing. I rode my bike. I went for walks. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, this is it. Mm-hmm. I could take a nap if I wanted. So this year, I do have this new book has inspired me to write another one, and that is Ripping Pages 2. So that is, I'm already, I think, 30 stories into that book. Okay. So we're talking about 40, 50 pages already in that.
Great.
So yeah, just, having fun, man.
We're going to hold you to that.
100%. You know I'll get it done.
I know you will.
So everybody, I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. This is Pete Vassallo. This is Joe Downing. We just want to thank each and every one of you. We wish each and every one of you an outstanding new year and go out there, be kind to one another, be thankful for what you do have. Don't worry about what you don't have. I always say, if you want things in life, figure out what you don't want in life. And when you figure that out, you will end up with what you want. I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy, telling all of you, be safe, have fun, and have yourself an outstanding year. We'll see you next time right here on the Outstanding Life Podcast. Hey, I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. Are you planning a conference, convention, meeting, assembly, or any live event that needs a guest speaker? I would love to be a part of it. For more information, visit motivationalcowboy.com. And don't forget to check out my Outstanding Life podcast every Sunday here on Dirt Road Radio, KYDT 103.1 FM and KBFS 1450 AM. Have an outstanding day.
Thanks for listening to the Outstanding Life Podcast. Follow Johnny D on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Motivational Cowboy. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, advertise, or would like to make a donation, please visit motivationalcowboy.com. And remember to have an outstanding day.